We're live! I couldn't have done that louder if I tried. That's a lie. While the wondrous individuals of the internet start to crawl their way in here. Whoop, that's not supposed to be on. There we go. I'm a viewer too.
He's already spring up.
Welcome, wonderful people of the vast expanse of the internet. Once again, it is a Tuesday and we're asking people questions. I am Jason Greenberg. I'm a content creator for Bucketlist Entertainment. To my whichever direction fucking works. You can introduce yourself. You're the boss.
I was expecting you to introduce me. I'm Liz Imperiali, the founder of Bucketlist Entertainment.
And tonight, our esteemed guests are none other than local fucking heavyweight, longtime friend of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Justin, Nick, Alex, and Carlo of FAYNE.
Oh, wrong head. Hello.
I'm genuinely surprised you guys actually decided to pile into one room for this.
Like I said before, we don't have a choice, man.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, so as viewers across the internet are going to crawl in and everything like that, for everybody out in recorded land, how this usually goes is and for once, it's going to be Liz and I together, which is always fun, are going to be asking a bunch of questions that we toiled over for an undetermined period of time. And once we're done with that, the lovely people in our chat are allowed to ask their questions. If they so choose it, if they decide to pussy out, well, it's your fucking fault. Any questions before we get started? That's a no. So, kicking things off nice and simple for everybody so no one shits their pants. How's everyone doing?
Good, man.
Good, man.
We're doing well, man. We're not bad. Not bad at all.
I am very glad to hear it. That's all of our interview for this evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We'll be back next week with Third Eye Blind. One of those is real. So other than how's everything going? Obviously, we're still living COVID. We're still sitting inside of fucking apartments. You guys get to jam together and make your music, as we already know, and we're going to dive into that. But before we do, I'm always curious with every poor asshole that finds ourselves in this room with us. What are you guys listening to these days?
Expired.
Yeah, Expired for him. A lot of post-hardcore and emo music on my end. A lot of sad boy songs, a lot of acoustic guitar and clean singing.
As you live with my fucking partner in crime and emo night buffoons, I would imagine that would be the case.
Yes. Well, actually, no. I mean, like, yeah, we're both super into that stuff. But I mean, I've been taking initiative to kind of start doing some of my own covers or whatnot, or just my own noodling and filming it and putting it up. And so I'm diving around looking for more songs to do that with, and maybe eventually start, actually filming like vocal covers or guitar and vocal covers. That's me. What about you guys?
Car bomb all the way.
I don't know. Between the Burn, we just came out like last week, and that's pretty killer right now.
You like it? Yeah.
I do like it. Yeah.
You've always been a diehard Between the Buried and Me fan.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, it doesn't take much for me to dig it.
I'd be crawling into comas at their shows, and you're just sitting there fucking completely enamored by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man of many words, as you can see.
Nico's in the back.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of Arcfire and like Lorne. It's just like electronic dude, and
Nice.
yeah,
We had a cool discussion the other day. You're super into like synthwavy stuff too, eh?
yeah. I mean, I used to be into that like way more into it a long time ago. So I hop in and out of it these days because I love that style. I love everything like behind the geekiness of synthesis and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not.
You also produce your own stuff.
Yeah, I do that too. I might release some stuff very soon, actually.
We make our own music?
Yeah.
What a marvelous segue! No, obviously,
you give all four of us the microphone, not just one of us.
Aw.
You could a fucking fake. So, getting right into the meat and potatoes of it, you guys just dropped your second of two songs since your last record journals. First of all, Empath, and now just today, Hubris. So tell us more about what you guys are working on and what it's eventually going to turn into. Are you doing the popular thing of just releasing individual tracks over extended periods of time, or are you building up to a record here?
I'm going to take it. Cool. So it's kind of a mix of both. It's a bit of a hybrid. When COVID started, we had already had demos written for Empath and for Hubris. So what ended up happening was, I think we had just finished tracking the drums for both of those songs right before the pandemic hit. And then we were locked out of our studio. We couldn't get any of our gear. We were all confined to our homes. The owner of our pad actually just locked everything, not only to prevent people from coming in, but also to prevent people from leaving and taking their stuff and not paying rent anymore. So it was a financial self-protection tactic there. He's not the first to do it. Needless to say, is we kind of got fucked in that respect. So Alex did, all the guitars at his place, like a guitar wizard. Was that at your house, or did you do it at the pad?
No, I did it at my house.
You did it at your house, yeah.
In my
So he did all the guitar at his house. But before that, Carla was actually allowed to go into the pad for, I think, like half a day or something, and get as much gear out of it as we could. So he drove all the way from the east end of the island out an hour to Il Bazaar, where I was staying, because I decided to lay low at my parents' house because it's like quiet, wooden covered suburbia. I was like, this is going to be perfect for absolutely nothing to do. So he drove all the way there, dropped me off the gear, the mic, the preamp, the laptop, and I did the vocals in my parents' basement for both of those songs. And it was like the first time that we were doing official vocals, and a member of the band wasn't there to like moderate or give feedback or even to record me for that matter.
Yeah.
So that was pretty crazy. And those songs kind of became like a bit of like a microclimate of their own. They kind of really only represent like a one vibe and one energy during a certain period in time, because we were very shut off from the world at the time where we were trying to finish this music. And we have been working on newer stuff since then, but we've since had the opportunity to get back into our jam space together again, meet up together again, and actually write stuff like we used to do. So these songs kind of stand on their own as like a specific chapter in time, because like even though this pandemic hit, we never really stopped working as a band. Like we were having Zoom chats like every other night. We had that whole period in April where we lost Chris, unfortunately, but even despite that, we kept moving. And once we're able to see each other again outside, we would meet up at Jerry Parks on Thursdays and kind of talk about how we're going to plan this next release. And as we were doing that, we decided to then kind of pair these two songs together as like a unit, as kind of just like a simple point in time or chapter in time just for this band. And together between the two songs is about 13 minutes of runtime. So it's like almost like an EP's length worth of music, but just two songs, right? So there's still a lot of content in there for people to pull from. Empath's like almost 8 minutes, which we're notorious for. That's pretty much what came to be with Empath and Hubris, is that we started planning a double single release just around these two songs with the videos. It's not out yet, but it will soon. And then we obviously kept writing after that. Like the newer stuff past those songs, but those seem to be coming together more in like an album sense because of the way that we can write them now that we're together again.
Right.
So no, Empath and Hubris are kind of standing on their own two legs as their own entity, but there is stuff in the works coming after, and sooner than people think.
So ultimately a record at the end of the day. Just
yes.
Not including these two.
Yeah, in short, yeah, because that's what bands, that's what we do. We put out records. And the single release thing, we dabbled in that idea. We dabbled in the idea of dropping one single a month or like one single a week. Let's but like stretching out the same iteration of a campaign 12 times over for 12 songs. It might be 12 different songs, but that flow that you create with your fans online kind of gets a little bit repetitive. So like albums still are like a genuine like really good release for a band, because it's an endeavor. It's not just a couple of songs.
It's also a decent time of given bands, like a moment in time. This is what we created in that time. So you always kind of want to clump them together to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, like Justin was saying, like thinking of the single route, the EP, but it's like these are all pretty much a chunk of time. We wrote these out in this time. And,
so what's influencing us on the stuff that we're working on now? may have some stuff in common with what we did with Empath and Hubris, but not necessarily everything. And it's just difference enough for us to justify kind of separating the music and letting those two songs hold their own as FAYNE during this chapter when things were just upside down. And now where we are now, things are still upside down, but we're finally learning how to deal with it.
Right.
That's standing on its own, as its own form of inspiration and its own set of ideas that are creating the songs that we're working on right now.
So the end result of all of this is to eventually like have an album. Like that's the goal. The end goal is to releasing a single here and then you want to have an album release.
Well, I mean, Empath and Hubris aren't probably going to be on the next record.
Okay.
No, they're holding their own as just singles, but we are doing something special for them. We are doing a cool packaging for them once we've released both videos and both songs. That's going to be happening in October. But no, those two are going to hold their own as two sets of songs, two singles just at this point in time. And what we have coming next, that's going to be for a record. Yeah.
Cool.
Solid.
Exciting times.
Yeah. It's been exciting. That's for sure.
I can only imagine. No, it's definitely been a unique.
Sometimes it's kind of discouraging, man, because and this doesn't apply to everyone in the band, but for me personally, like a big part of how I thrive in music is being able to play concerts. It's actually being able to see people. Like, do you know how bad I fucking miss handing out flyers, dude?
Don't you start with me on that one.
Hey, you
Start with me on that one.
You should understand, but I mean, I'm talking in the respect of handing out my own flyers and sharing my music with people in the real world, and actually,
Are you guys gonna while we're waiting for shows to come back? Are you guys going to do a live stream at some point, or?
But
That's a no.
We have a lot of. We're working on a lot of things. There's we kind of overfilled our plates a little bit to work for the end of 21.
Okay.
We're going content crazy, so there is stuff coming in a performance aspect.
Okay.
It's not going to be a real live show that we could sell tickets to wherever, because like we were talking before the stream started, things are starting to get canceled and it's looking really discouraging. Not to mention we lost like half the venues that were within a local band's budget range in the city.
That's the problem. Yeah, in the city. Yeah. Are you thinking, because I'm seeing? Well, so far I've only seen one band do this. So correct me if I'm wrong if there's more. But one of my favorite bands is 311, and it's like I love them. And they're on tour right now in the States, and I've been watching all their live streams like throughout this whole thing, and they're actually live streaming their shows as well.
Show?
Every
single
show. So, well, not every show. I think it's out of like 5 out of the bunch that they're playing. I don't think it's everyone. And would you guys do something like that at some point too, so you get more, because people are like shows,
Yeah, I would be really happy to start off just by playing a show, and there's mechanics and things that come into the organizing of being able to stream a show live as it's happening. Like money's so sick what you can do with it. Like when you like, that really is like, to a live stream at a venue where you have to worry about your internet connection, you have to worry about your camera quality, you have to worry about how the lighting is going to affect the focus and the exposure of the set. You need the crew. Like these professional productions, like as simple as they sound in theory, like they cost money and they're expensive, and they also require people with knowledge. And 311, they have that. They've earned that.
I love that.
No, the shows were fantastic. It was actually our favorite part to watch, like how they would fumble certain things, because they're all just such stoned old men.
They're the best.
It was sick tight, to say the fucking least. But yeah, so I mean, as we've all countless times gone over, not only in the course of these interviews, just in personal conversations, this whole experience is truly a vile dumpster fire, especially for musicians like all of us in this fucking room. That's like, that blanket's not there because I fucking need blinds. I have blinds under there.
I don't lie. I've been to your place. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. I just need noise canceling, don't I, Alex?
I love creative bass traps. Like we have a bench from our van that's up in the corner as a bass trap, and yeah, you can use it as a bed. But
The other van's in my backyard. The other bench.
oh, the bench.
The other bench is in my backyard. Working as a or bench.
But obviously, more so than most, with just working on recording the music and having to be apart from each other, you guys have gone a step above that. Like you mentioned, you already released a video for Empath, and you're now releasing a video for Hubris. Run us through a little bit of what some of those experiences were like for you, and how you were able to push through some of the hellish fucking restrictions that we've got in order to create something as professional looking as they turned out to be.
So
we weren't even there for the shooting of Empath. You know, usually we're there on location.
I was there,
or you were, but like as in like all of us, you know, like we had like someone, you know, to represent us, you know, and take footage and content and stuff like that. So that was kind of weird, you know, but like we trust Les FAYNE, like we knew that they were gonna. This is the third or fourth. I think that would have been the third project we've done with them.
Yeah, third.
Probably fourth.
Third project.
For you.
Fourth. Yeah, because I've been working with Les FAYNE since I was in Red Skies with Cody. Yeah. By the way, he's a little Easter egg behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been working like personally. I've worked with them like on like 6 videos now, and like with these guys, it's like 4 out of those 6, and I'm seeing them grow from the beginning of working with them to what they're capable of now. You know, like they've won awards with multiple of their videos, like the most recent being with ours.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. Talk about that a little bit. What happened there?
Max submitted Empath. Max is the director for Les FAYNE. So he submitted the video to the IMVAs. It's the International Music Video Awards that they usually host in London, and they receive submissions seasonally. I think it's twice a year, and a panel of judges puts them up for nomination, and then they're reviewed again, and then the winners are decided like after that. So we didn't know too much about the process. That was pretty much like the gist of it from what I understand.
It was a pleasant surprise.
But we waited, you know, we heard we got picked, so we were like, oh, that's cool. So we got picked in 3 categories. We got picked for best director, best cinematographer, and best drama music video.
Wow, that's amazing.
We won best drama and best cinematography. So, and cinematography goes off to Graham. Graham is like the main camera guy from Les FAYNE. Like we bow in his aura. Like he's so legit. And
pants.
Max is a monster of a director too. And the whole team that they have there is like absolutely insane. Like they really know what they're doing. And like they just keep getting better and better every time. And they're very like they could bend with every scenario. You know, like whatever our restrictions are, whether it be budget, location, timing, they go with the flow and they make it happen.
That's so cool. Like for Empath, we weren't there, but it was like we had like you guys. Like they're part of the team at this point.
Oh yeah, it was months of planning. It was a
lot of planning. Yeah, we met like a lot of times. We had a lot of conversations, and even after we got the first draft back of the video, we had a lot of like you know, back and forth because of the conversations we couldn't have because we weren't on set. So there was still discussion to be had like during the editing process, but like ultimately, you know, they do what they do best, and we got, you know, what we got as an end result. We're really happy with. Like it was like really, really happy with.
So who came up with the concept for the video? Like was it them, and then they introduced it to you, or did you come up with the concept?
It was a bit of a group effort. Like I had come up with an idea about like a man in front of a mirror originally, and this is like based off a dream I had. It was like a man in front of a mirror, but his reflection wasn't reflecting him. His reflection was actually controlling him. And I was like, this is cool, but how can I make this more art and less Harry Potter? So I pitched the idea to Les FAYNE, and then we started back and forth, like, you know, trying to re-represent what the mirror would be, or, you know, like whether it was like one person or if there were 2 characters. All I know is I wanted to have a conversation between like light and darkness. That's
right.
It was like a conversation that led to a mutual understanding through a common ground that these 2 characters experience. In the case of Empath, the common ground is artistic license, you know, being able to create. So I used art to represent a language than rather as just like an art form and freedom of expression. So these 2 vastly different characters who appear in the same space, but what seems to be at different points in time or different dimensions, they have this supernatural connection through art. And then a conversation ensues where there's like, you know, like the distraught painter who can't seem to create, you know, his perfect masterpiece is like losing his mind over it. And then you have this innocent musician who inherits this home that this painter once lived in, and then comes across his old painting in the living room. And when they make contact, this connection happens between them, and the painter starts to feel all of the emotions and things that the cellist is feeling, and vice versa. Or rather, the cellist is receiving all of these emotions from the painter, like all of his frustration, all of his anger, and it's manipulating him and controlling him. And once he realizes that that's happening, you see the cello player respond to him with his own form of art, his cello. And that's when you start to see at the end of the video that the painter, you know, he's mimicking the cello performance, because now the script has been flipped. And that's pretty much what's going on narratively in the story, but it's representing a much deeper thing, which is that you can understand people when you offer a piece of yourself, which is one of the lines in Empath.
Right.
That's pretty much what encompasses Empath.
Awesome.
Hubris is his asshole of an evil twin.
Yeah, I kind of got that feeling. Yeah, it's,
yeah, he's the evil Morty, pretty much.
yeah.
And like the video coming out, I'm not gonna spoil anything too soon. It's got definitely less of like this short film like narrative to it, and we're in it, so you're gonna be seeing us. But there's elements that are reminiscent to the Empath video. They're very subtle, like they're very minute. They're not necessarily like in your face, but they're there.
So we're like the evil twin, I guess.
We are the evil twin. We're the bad guys.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's gonna be, that's kind of, I think the aggression of that song I find really speaks for itself. But we also, we needed a music video that we're performing, and so people can identify with us, see what we're feeling when we play our instruments. Like that's really important as well. So Hubris is going to deliver a bit more of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. So we don't know when this is going to come out yet. Like there's no dates or.
This is going to be coming out at the end of September.
Okay, so that's soon.
I don't know what day yet, but it's going to be coming out in the last day of September.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah.
Inside scoop for you.
What was that? Sorry.
Little inside scoop for you.
Well, very cool. Exciting times.
What better time to announce shit than with us?
Yes. Let it out. We want all this.
Historically speaking, it's been good times. So, why not?
Good.
Why not?
So tell us a little bit about the history of FAYNE, because you guys have been technically a band for quite a long time, and you've had your ups and downs. You've taken some breaks. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Bye.
Nick.
We'll get to you, Justin. Don't worry.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess like because me and Nick are the OGs, if you want to talk about FAYNE, like, fuck.
It wasn't that long ago, homeboy. You know it's there.
Alex.
Yeah, no. Like,
2003.
I know
that.
I was the singer. No, yeah, like
When you're put on the spot, it's like, yeah.
Nick was guitar player. We had our buddy Marco Petrucci and Antoine Fidel and Chris Casp. And I don't know, man. Like it's a bit shady, but like hazy.
Yeah.
It's both.
But yeah, like we pretty much started jamming at this jam space on Park in Beaubien.
Right.
And then went to Balzac, and we started playing stuff that was heavy in our minds. Like, and I mean, I don't know where to start from.
I don't know either, honestly.
I was in the waiting room when he was born, so it's like.
Yeah, there you go. I remember that story.
Yeah,
like, you guys.
What was that? 3,000 years ago.
So you were literally born like at this like same hospital.
No, our parents know each other.
Yeah,
our parents are friends.
Okay, so your parents are friends. That's how you guys met, and you decided to jam together.
Pretty much.
And then you met Casp, or you already knew Casp, or you met him?
Yeah, I went to school with Casp. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I pretty much joined like with his friends at the time.
It was basically my friends and I
play.
Yeah.
Right, and you guys were young when you started, so like it's understandable that you have life getting in the way and things happening to cause the breaks and stuff like that, and all the, like you said, like the haziness. Oh my god, it's been like kind of like dragged a little bit because there's so much happening. Yeah. So like, how did you cope with that? Like, what kept you going at the end? Like, kept you strong into this and going at the end? Like, what pushed you to keep going? And what advice can you give others who struggle with sort of the same thing when they're in a band for, you know, a long time, and there's these like struggles and these things that get in the way, and then like they either give up and they stop? Like, what advice can you give, and what kept you going to be where you are today?
Personally, it's just the undying need to create. And it's a great channel to create because I get to do it with homies, and it's not just an ego creation, you know, like we get to create stuff. And it's always kind of been that, like, whether it's music or video or just having like something to share.
Right.
At its like primal form, it's pretty much that, you know. And then the stuff, it's like, it's all fuck water under the bridge, you know, like the Basti style.
Yeah. And so when you had your like, because you guys really went through a period where, you know, like, well, you lot like Chris was gone last year, and then you were stuck without a singer for a while, and you're like, fuck, we gotta finish this record. How did you end up like pairing with Justin in the end? Like, tell us about that story. How did you meet? How did you decide on things? And how did that process go to finish that record at that point?
Yeah, that was rough because we were basically like ready to start like recording this record, and then we lost the singer, Joe, our old singer. And then it was like, fuck, we have like this record, you know, like that we were like super proud of and instrumentally. Yeah. And we had some stuff, but like we were looking for the right fit, you know, and we went through a few auditions and stuff, and there was nothing musically that was not good with that. Like it was just a matter of like a certain gel, commitment, stuff that we were looking for to like help us like move forward at the same rate that we were already trying to aspire to. And then we had Justin had like mentioned it at the beginning, and then after some time he was like, yo, let's do this, you know. And
so what I remember, how I remember it going down was like, I saw that you guys were looking for a singer, and I hit you guys up, and because this was right after, not too long after Red Skies had split.
We also already knew you because we had already done shows with Red Skies.
Actually, Cody's first show with Red Skies way back in the day, FAYNE was on that show, and that's where I met for the first. No,
Red Skies played at Bucket Fest too.
We played at Bucket Fest together. Our old bands, our bands had played multiple shows together. Over time. And actually, it's funny how I first met them. I was walking in the street to pick up a guitar cab, and three out of the four of them were in there with Cass because he was buying his brand new bass. Hey, there it is.
First one.
I keep shit.
Covered in sentimental tears. So it was a little crinkly.
Top 5 times I've been sweating in my life.
That was the one FAYNE show I didn't play ever.
It's true, because
the only FAYNE show I never played that one.
JJ played that show because Nico was having his kid.
Right.
The only FAYNE show I've never played was for Bucketlist.
You've literally been missing a limb, and you still played a FAYNE show.
Pretty much.
Like
having your firstborn is.
It's like it's like that.
Yeah. And thank you for pushing through. Thank you guys for pushing through and trying your best to be there. And Nico, like, I understand it was like that was a big night for you too. So it was like the birthday of Bucket Fest or Bucketlist and your child. So
that's right.
There you go.
Bird rules everything
you
around.
can have more kids, but whatever. It's cool. I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I messaged them a second time. Farther into the year, like closer to the summertime, it was like beginning of June. I messaged them, and they sent me a song, and I wrote some lyrics, you know, and we jammed it out. I met up with them at their pad. We jammed it out. Everyone seemed pretty chilled out about it, so we went along. And 2 months later, I had written lyrics for pretty much all of Journals, and then we spent the time after that recording it, and then figuring out how we were going to release it. And
it's funny how like we got to know each other musically by recording stuff as opposed to like jamming stuff through. Like it was different, but like smooth sailing.
Yeah, it was very smooth. It
I hear the differences. I was actually telling like Justin and Alex this like when I heard Empath, because I hear it now. Like I hear you. Journals was kind of like, to me, and it was kind of like a test run. It's like, okay, let's try this. Let's see how it goes. And now you guys have your family. Like you sound like you are meshing so much better. Like not that you were before, but it just, yeah.
Yeah, it was like when you come into a band that already has like a full album of finished music, you kind of look at it like, okay, like you view the entire project as a whole, and you're like, all right, I have to unify these songs vocally, like at least for me in my own head, you know, like the songs were unified on their own because, you know, like Alex, Carlo, and Nico wrote them, so it's still coming from the same bodies, but it's like you have like 7 or 8 songs to look at, and you're like, okay, you know, try and tie them all together with, you know, with this kind of approach vocally. But with Empath and Hubris and everything that we've been doing after, it's been like one song at a time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I get to actually digest each song as it comes, and it's creatively it definitely gets a lot more muscles working.
Oh, for sure, I can
The
imagine.
synergy develops at a better rate as well, because it's really from inception of the demos, you know, and like then the pre-prod. Yeah, it's different. And all this while we haven't really played that many shows for the new stuff, like, or any for that matter.
Right.
So like there's, yeah, I don't know, it works really well. This guy killed it.
There you go.
I'm looking at a fucking supercomputer next to me.
Alex is fantastic. He's a little genius with all that stuff. So
No, Carlo and Nico too, and everyone's got like a
all of you guys. I'm sorry, all of you guys.
skill set that really like contributes to how we can like kind of do a lot of stuff DIY. You know, we're really into, you know, filming things ourselves, recording things ourselves, and like managing our band, and using it's, you know, putting in the time and effort with the tools we know how to use to make things work. And when it comes to actually seeking out help, whether that comes with a cost or not, we do it. But we're also very we try to be as resourceful as we can, because, you know, being in a band without any of those skill sets is really expensive, especially if you're going to take yourself seriously. Like there's a way of going about it, you know, in a way that like you can really come into your own by, you know, learning how to do this kind of stuff yourself, and you actually can you represent yourself the way you want to be represented, and you learn how to do that better and better over time, because you're the one who's doing it. You're not going to someone every single time.
Yeah, it's easier to pick your team after that.
Yeah,
you know, like you know how like what intensity and purposes you have, and if you gel with the people behind that, you know, like, because we're super into that, like make sure we always work with people that are chill and cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course.
Upon first email, I'm like, yo, chill. All right, then we get to work.
There you go. So we're going to be in the more funner part of the interview now. Funner. So I have my famous question that I ask every band. Where would each member of FAYNE be in a human centipede?
Carlo, you're at the back, man. I'm sorry.
Carlo takes all the shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess
Justin's in the front. I got this.
I feel so bad agreeing with you, but I do. Can we be like a modular human centipede? Like we could just like, you know,
a
like
circular
bionicle. You just build it.
That's not really how sewing someone's mouth to someone else's asshole really works, but you know,
Legos, like Lego mouth, Lego ass.
It's not modular. Unless you're like Lego people.
I just said that.
Oh.
So we don't. So what's the final answer? Justin first, then.
Can we go tallest to shortest?
That puts me in front.
Yeah, all right, fuck you.
I wouldn't want to suck on Nico's asshole either. I love you, brother. I love you in every conceivable way, except that one.
Then just tell me wherever you want.
You want to go wherever, anywhere?
Do I have to be alive?
Dude, you
Yes,
know,
I do.
it doesn't matter which way you look at it. It's not a good time.
I do particularly love that this is boring, you guys.
Yeah. What was that?
It's
I'll take 3. I mean, I always
okay.
take
So
3
it's
anyways.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There you go. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. And like whenever if we do get a bassist, he'll have to be 5. He'll have to.
Yeah.
He's going behind me.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
You have to be the
Being in the front or the back is like the best.
A shite of passage.
Yeah.
You think the back is?
Well, you
Because
get
who's got anything left by then?
yeah.
You ain't got no one sucking on your ass. Sounds easy.
Yeah. These conversations are always the
I've
best.
never been asked that one before, man. That's
Well played, Liz.
a first. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Hey, at least if it happens again, you'll know what to say.
I can reference this video in the
Always
future.
be prepared.
Exactly. Just watch that video. I don't want to answer that again.
There you go.
Just a link.
Notes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's man, it's been just like a like we were saying before, like a super busy year. I'm trying.
Where is he going?
The whole year is he's getting a beer.
A question like that.
This whole succession of content has now been like our content's like sequence for what we've been doing with these releases is a human centipede of its own. So it's like, how can this content shit into the next content, and vice versa, until we deliver a final piece at the end of the year that absorbs all the shit.
Yeah. There you go.
I think you're the only guy that had to turn the human centipede question into a metaphor. I think that's a new.
Take shit and I turn it into gold. I don't know what to do.
There you go. That's a new one.
Yeah. But if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. So. Yeah.
Lizard, you got one more? Or is it on to me?
It's on to you.
It is on to me. All right. If any of you schmucks have watched my interviews before, which you should have, since you're supposed to be my friends, there's a little section that I like to do in every interview that I like to call Battle of the Blank. I'm going to make you pit 2 things that I know you love in a battle to the death, and you got to tell me which one actually wins. Are we clear on the rules?
Do you go person by person, or is it like?
No. I'm going to ask, and you guys are going to fight over it.
Okay.
I want as much chaos as I can physically fucking squeeze. Like if somebody could get stabbed in the eye, I would really like. I would
Well, I
that
got
happen.
boxing gloves in the bedroom. I can just don't ask why they're in the bedroom, but I got boxing gloves.
There's only so many reasons why you would have boxing gloves in a bedroom. Like honestly. All right, so round 1. Enough goofing around, you fucks. Who wins in a fight to the death? Misery Signals or the Contortionist?
Fuck you, man! Really?
That was the first question.
The contortionist.
The contortionist wins?
They're homies.
That's true. That's true. Friends help friends.
Wow. Question right away.
I'm gonna go with people I've actually met and have like awesome times and conversated with. I don't know. That's my pick.
We also
Yeah.
have
I'm down on bias.
Yeah, like for sure.
Yeah, well,
But that's me.
I mean, I've met them and have worked with them before, like doing shows.
And probably also musically, but yeah.
Yeah, and like I love them musically, but I also love Misery Signals a lot too.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like vocally, I can relate more to Misery Signals than the Contortionist, just because of what what Carl Schuback does, and like
I knew well Jesse.
and the new vocalist Jesse, but the Contortionist too. Like Mike Lassard's vocals are fucking phenomenal. He's able to be powerful but super soft and gentle with his voice at the same time, and that's like the perfect approach for the instruments that he has to accompany for them. So it's like that's really polarizing for me.
Well, it's one of the Backup brothers that they pretty much
The Backup brothers too. They're like
phenomenal.
you can't really have one without the other. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love all of those.
you can't. I vote Contortionist.
Yeah, I guess it would be the
Contortionist.
contortionist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a unanimous Contortionist. Misery Signals, we're sorry. We love you.
Yeah.
Because they're for sure watching this right now.
Entirely the guy who looks like the villain from Rocky and Bullwinkle's fault right there.
I'm here to break up relationships, baby.
They're already broke.
Hey, you know what? If nothing else, I was referring to them being in a full-on dicks out fucking brawl. You're the ones having to go into like how they are as musicians and comparing these little things. Okay? I'm just saying, who's talking to who? You want to fucking make it weird and metaphorical? That's on you, man. I'm good.
I think Misery Signals would win.
There are
6
more
to 5.
people, yeah,
It's
there are
6 to 5.
6 to 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 6 to
Some people can take more than one.
5. I mean, the
Trust
guy
me, no.
from Deadwalk can take like 20 at once, so you know.
Oh, how we missed Deadwalk. All right, we're only doing 2 rounds of this. We're only doing 2 rounds of Battle of the Blank tonight. So the second one, and I know it's going to be very much one person's taste versus the other person's taste. So let's see how this goes. Who wins in a fight to the death? Every Time I Die or The Gorgeous?
Oh shit!
Every time I die.
Yeah, there's a wrestler involved.
It's-
Well, fuck the place
Annual, yeah.
up.
Yeah.
So what happened to cheering on your friends, Alex?
I misunderstood, and now I know it's a fight.
Oh. You see, this is all I wanted. I just wanted people to insult me.
I think
They love. I'm super happy about that. Relationships broken up. Phone calls to be made tomorrow morning.
I'm sorry, Danny.
So last but not least, we always ask this question to all of our victims in our interviews, but what is left on your bucket list for fame?
Like before a band disappears or before the end of the year?
Before you all die.
Same meaning, pretty much.
Yeah.
Many more music.
Yeah, many more musics. Many more musical units. There's fuck, you know, what every fucking band wants to do, right? You
Play
know?
with Metallica.
Yeah, exactly.
Europe.
I mean, I'm not going to refuse, but it's like there's, you know, like there's tons of things, you know,
Going to Europe. Man.
tours, traveling the world, playing in Europe, playing in fucking Australia, putting out more records, you know, like doing interviews like this, like not only with you guys, but with like many other people, and just
Being on a video game soundtrack.
being on it. Yeah, that would be actually really
That's
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
It would
cool.
also be really cool to be like a professional wrestler's entrance music. On the subject of, you know, bands beating the fuck out of each other, you know, it'd be really cool.
Oh, we do celebrity deathmatch, but like band edition.
Yeah,
That would be-
you got us hung up on that question back there, Greenberg. I'm sorry.
People are gonna love it.
There's I don't know, a bunch of stuff we want to do. I think we definitely want to, you know, push the envelope for what every band wants to do. But I think as much as we've like evolved as a band in the last year and in the way we're evolving now, there's still probably a lot of stuff about the direction we're going in and the sound we're developing that we don't know yet.
Mhm.
So there's probably goals to be had that we don't even know that we want right now.
Right.
And that's really exciting because I feel like that gives me more of a reason to keep doing this and to actually know what it is that I want. Well, it's like, what about all the stuff that could happen that we haven't even freaking considered yet? You
Right.
know?
It's like
What-
loving the process also, because like you get to learn new things, or like you said, new things that you would want to aspire to.
Yeah.
Like, by going over the process and trying to one up yourself.
Yeah.
Like the process.
Right. And what about? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so sorry. Enjoying like what you're doing is like extremely important to like keep pressing on and keep doing what you do as a band. Like, especially through these recent times, it's more important than appreciating the end result. Because ultimately that process is going to be taking up the majority of your time. Where, you know, the day a song drops, you know, when you see it hits midnight and your song goes live, you get that momentary gratification, and then, you know, the next day follows with the response, but that's it. But then all that time you spent before getting all that shit ready.
You gotta love what you do, or
Yeah.
like why, or not why, but like you gotta love what you do.
Because if you don't, and then you get your result and it's not what you're expecting, you're going to be more disappointed than I think you would be had you loved the entire process of creating that. You know?
And the other takeaways you get from the whole process. Like,
Yeah.
100%. I totally agree with that. Do you have any like dream tours that you want to be a part of one day, or any like bands you want to tour with?
Oh,
I think that would be
Metallica's
very
so light.
different for each one of us.
that's
Oh, yeah?
different for each and
Yeah.
every one
Yeah.
of us. Yeah, for sure.
Oh no.
I mean, I would love to tour with like the biggest, like, you know, like metalcore and like metal heavyweights. Like my favorite vocalist is Randy Blythe from Lamb of God.
Mhm.
So to be able to open For Lamb of God. I know stylistically it's a little bit iffy, so it would probably be more of like, you know, like, oh, you happen to be on the same festival type of thing, you know, but that would be like awesome to actually be able to, you know, to do that, and then like to precede the stage for a band like that, or, you know, Kill Switch Engage, or if we're gonna go with any band, Meshuggah, and like, you know, the biggest, you know, like the biggest bands we looked up to. There's all kinds. Between the Buried in Me for Nick, that's for fucking sure.
I like the whole idea, because then you can like really go like left field, and yeah, I don't know.
I want to open for Suicide Boys.
Or like Aphex Twin or some shit.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I was supposed to see Aphex Twin at a cave party in London back in like 2003. And yeah, and he never showed up.
I've never heard of these before.
Aphex Twin?
No, cave parties.
Cave parties.
Oh yeah, well this was in London. It's like literally like a rave in a cave. You have to go down.
Enough, that was the slogan.
You have to go down into a cave, and the rave is there, and it's like there's like little rooms that you like kind of have to crawl into and stuff, and it's like there's a chill room, and he was gonna play the main room, which was huge, and he never showed up. I think he like fell asleep, and he lives in London, and he never showed up. So like, bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's a whole bunch of other artists like.
Well, realistically, I guess Silent Planet. I mean, they're kind of up our alley.
Yeah,
so one of my favorite bands.
That's definitely up our alley.
Unrealistically, Metallica.
No.
I think we're the only guys we've heard say we want to open for Metallica. Everybody always says Deftones. No one says Metallica.
Oh, I mean, yeah, Deftones. Oh, I would love to play with Loathe if we're on the subject.
Loathe is
like Deftones.
Oh, they were supposed to be here.
Very high up there for me.
Yeah.
Whoa, Deftones without the flat earthing.
Yeah, you're the one who broke that bad news to me, and I didn't really handle it that well that day.
We were working a show together, so it wasn't even me. It was an unnamed buddy who I will not rat out in this, but yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah. Wherever you are, John, I love you. Yeah, that was well, actually it's full on out there now. It's not like he's spoken about this publicly, so it's not on anybody for breaking some kind of a fucking secret. But yeah, that's upsetting.
Yeah. There's a lot of good artists. There's a lot of artists whose music are fantastic, but then they're very questionable people.
Yeah.
You know? Like whether from a moral standpoint, or like, you know, like Carpenter could be a flat earther but still be a very nice guy. So it's not a question of him being a bad human being. It's just this like this in our opinion,
really
a skewed
bad
belief system
side of that scale. Like
you could be bad with anything though. You know, like you could be a flat earther and be a total fucking dick.
Yeah, no, not with that. I'm thinking of some like others who've done a really great like whack fucking like despicable shit, but that's
they're still human after all, right?
They're out. They're out there.
Yeah, they are out there. So I think we are going to wrap it up. So I'm just going to plug a few things before we officially end. So if you guys want to watch, thanks everybody, first of all, for watching this. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you want to watch the full interview, the full recorded interview, it will be available tomorrow on obviously our Facebook page and our YouTube page at Bucketlist TV. You can also follow us on Instagram at Bucketlist Entertainment and on Twitter at Bucketlist ENT. And next week, we are going to continue the Q&As with Chris Reed of Third Eye Blind. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh, man. Third Eye
Blind. I wasn't joking. We're actually talking to Third Eye Blind next week.
We're going to interview Third Eye Blind for the second time. I interviewed Steven a few years ago. And that was, if you guys want to check that out, it's on our YouTube page. Is there anything that you guys want to plug? I mean, you've already sort of discussed it, but we have some stuff coming up for you guys. Like, do you want to mention it again, or anything else that we didn't talk about?
Hubris and
Hubris just came out today, so make sure to check it out on all streaming platforms. It's on YouTube. It's on the whole shebang. Music video for it coming out at the end of September. Everyone will be knowing about that more in detail in roughly a week's time, maybe give or take a few days. There is merchandise coming cool stuff for the theme of empath and hubris in October. And we're going to have some goodies rolling out in November and December too. Some performance-related stuff where you'll actually get to see us play and kind of be more in our element for the first time in what feels like a really long time. So that's going to be our 2021, and we're really excited. Thank you guys so much for having us, by the way.
Thank
This
you
has
very
been like
much.
a lot of fun.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us too. It was a pleasure as usual. I haven't seen you guys in forever, so it was a nice little catch up. Even
Always.
under these weird circumstances, but it was really cool. Thanks again, Jason. Do you have anything you want to say? Like, are we
I'm
good?
waiting for utter vulgarity.
He's so quiet.
No. If I start spouting off about things that I want to say, I'm going to get canceled. I love everybody. Everything's awesome. World is peaches and blowjobs. I'm fucking lying. Tune in next week.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Peace, guys.
Peace.